Good afternoon. Monday, August 31st. Wow, the summer went by too fast. It always does, right? I'm going to wait a minute till I see some eyeballs on me. If you're here, please say hello. I just have, I don't know if I have them. I have a pile of cards I'm mailing out tomorrow. If you comment on during the video or during the replay, I will. I always like to pick a name out of a hat and send the card we made that day. So make sure that you say hello and tell us how you're doing or introduce yourself. We're happy to have you here. My name's Leslie. I am a independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I teach people how to make paper crafts. Today we're going to make a fun three-dimensional project I'm really excited about. It's probably considered an intermediate project. It's not very hard, um, but there is some steps involved, and but I'm excited to share it with you. Hi, Donna. I'm going to turn the camera around here. Hi, Chris. Hope you're doing well. This is the project we're going to make today. It's a little autumn basket. I thought it was adorable. And I'm going to show you how to do a kind of a round basket. It's more of an oval basket, but a basket shape that you could probably use for different holidays. But since we're coming into autumn, I went ahead and made it autumn-like. Thank you, Donna. I'm going to make up a bunch of these and put them at my Thanksgiving table for my family. I'll probably just stick some little candies in there. But I thought they would be fun for a teacher gift. Maybe stick a coffee card in there to get a pumpkin spice latte, or it'd be fun for a friend or a neighbor to do the same. Maybe a little bag of chocolates with a gift card. Hi, Donna. Thank you. Get back to work. Thanks for stopping in to say hello, though. Donna Mack. The bundle I'm going to be using today is on page 47 of the Holiday Mini Catalog. It is the Gather Together bundle. And the bundle includes, if you don't have a Holiday Mini, I would love to send you one. Just message me or get a hold of me. I have another shipment of the catalogs coming any day now, and I'd love to send one out to you. The bundle includes the stamp set and the matching dies, which are sold separately, but you save 10% when you buy them together. So if you have a die cutting machine, you really want the dies. They cut out all of the images and then have a few extras. So that's what we're using today. We're also using the layering ovals dies. That's what we're going to use to make the little basket. And I did a lot of the work ahead of time, just because it's going to take us a minute to assemble the basket part. That's really the hardest part. Embellishing and decorating it is really the fun and easy part of it. Hi, Carol. Before I forget, today is the last day of August. So every order of $30 or more, your name will be put in for a drawing to receive the Flying Home stamp set. It's a red rubber stamp set. It's a former hostess reward stamp set. So you be sure and use the August host code. And if you had reward coupons from the month of July that need to be used in the month of August, today is the last day to use your coupons. So I wanted to remind everybody of that too. You don't want to waste those $5 coupons. I've used mine already. I use them right away, but if you haven't, be sure and do that. Okay, to start off with our basket, we're going to have a strip of, this is early espresso, and it is 6.5 by 2 inches. And I'm going to use my Simply Scored board. You could use your trimmer if you have something that you can score things on. When I have a lot of scoring to do, I like to use my Simply Scored. And we're going to score it on the 2-inch side. We've got 2 by 6.5. So on the 2-inch side, we're going to score it at 1/4. I'm going to look at my paper. Don't want to mess up now. 1/4 and 1 3/4. Basically, we're putting a little 1/4 inch strip on both sides, and we're going to use that strip as our tabs to put the basket together. Now, on the 6.5 inch side, there's a lot of scoring. We're going to score it at 1 inch, 2 inches. I'm looking at my paper just so I don't want to mess up. You know how I'm prone to do that. 2.5 inches, 4 inches, 4.5 probably is the next one. Yep. And 5.5. These are going to be the little sections of our basket that we're going to curl up and create that with. Now, before I started, or before I got here, I went ahead and cut out 2 ovals, and I used the largest oval from the Layering Ovals dies, the largest one, because I wanted my basket to be pretty good size. And I think it is. I think it would hold quite a bit of little goodies, as our UK people call them, sweeties. Would hold some sweeties. So I cut 2 early espresso ovals with the largest oval out of a 4 by 7 inch piece of early espresso ink. This is going to be my basket base. And I'm going to use my trimmer. And the base of our basket, I just made a straight edge just so it will stand up well. And I didn't really measure anything or do anything special. I just made sure my oval was pretty horizontal with this gutter right here. And I just trimmed off the tiniest little piece. No measuring or science to it, just to have a flat edge. And I did that on both ovals. Just the tiniest little piece. And I'm going to set those aside for a minute, and we're going to take that strip of cardstock that we have just scored, and I'm going to take my bone folder and really burnish these edges on the score lines, because we're going to turn this flat, straight piece of cardstock into a round basket or an oval basket. So I want those fibers to kind of be broken down. Hi, Susan. How are you? This is what I would consider a wow project. And I haven't done one of these in quite a while, so I thought you all were worth it today. It's a rainy, dull day here in Kansas City, so let's do something fun. Okay, then I'm going to take my little paper snips, and on these little score lines. There's a score line. I'm going to do little triangular shaped divots at an angle right into the score line. I hope that's making sense, because these are going to be our tabs. And I'm going to do that on all of these little score lines. And later on today, when I'll finish this and I'll have it all up on my blog at theplaidpoodle.com, and I'll even have a diagram of this, or I might just do a picture of the, kind of went a little crazy on that one, a picture of all the score lines and trimming that you need to do. And it might make more sense that way. Once I put this down on the paper, you'll see it better. This tab's going to be a little lean. It'll still work. Did y'all hear Maggie shake her ears? Well, hi, Donna. Mekis, am I pronouncing that right? Long time no see. I hope you're doing well. Glad to have you. Okay, let's get rid of all this, our trash. So this is what it's going to look like. Only your tab right here will look better than my tab. And like I said, later on today, I'll have it over on theplaidpoodle.com, and I'll have a diagram with all the measurements and things. It's kind of hard to see that early espresso where everything is. Now we're going to adhere it to our ovals that here's the flat edge of our oval that we trimmed. I'm going to adhere that. This is going to be the base of our basket, this largest panel. So I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue. You could use some tear and tape or sticky strip. I like to use liquid glue just because it gives me a little wiggle room and a little bit of time to adjust things if I don't like how it is. So basically I'm lining up that flat edge of my oval right along that score line. Should have used a different color. I'm not sure the early espresso's showing up real well. Then I'm going to add some adhesive on all these other little tabs. I'm going to do one side at a time. It's a little awkward and cumbersome, but if you just take your time and are patient, it works. And I'm going to slowly, see I've got these score lines here, just kind of position these in my oval. I don't want them to show up front, so I'm putting them, far enough behind that oval. I'm adhering them to the back. Some of them like to sneak out. Maybe once I get this oval adhered, you can see better when I do the other opposite side. But basically I have put all those tabs. It's really hard to see that. I need a flashlight. But the little tabs are glued on the inside. Is that making sense? Then I'm going to put some more liquid adhesive on these tabs and do the same thing. Just kind of bend on those score lines we made. This glue wants me to hold it in place for just a second before it grabs, but okay. So we've got all the tabs on the inside. Now we have these tabs on the other side. See how our little panels just all folded into it? Hi, Betty Holton. Now this side's going to be a lot easier. I'm just going to put some of this liquid glue this little tab here that I kind of tore off at the beginning. We'll see how that does, but I think we'll do okay. So again, I'm going to take the little straight edge that we cut with our trimmer and line it up with that bottom tab. That's where I'm going to start. And then these are a little easier because they're held in place by the other side, but I can just hold them down until they grab. And I want to curl them in so they don't show in the front, if that makes sense. You won't be able to line them up along the edge of the oval because you're basically taking a triangle and turning it into an oval. Hi, Debbie. So that is the base of the basket. And now that I'm seeing it on camera, I wish I would have done it in a different color because I think y'all could have seen better how I did that. But like I said, tune into the blog this afternoon and I will have a diagram and everything. And you know what I do, how I created this actually this morning, is I just play with some scrap paper first. So if you're not real comfortable before you cut your good stuff, just play with some scrap paper, even a piece of copy paper, just to see how it'll work. Okay, so that's the basket. And then I'm going to add the handle now because with all these leaves on here, I found it a little hard to add the handle later. It's possible because I did it, but I thought that sure would have been easier if I would have done that first. So I'm just going to punch a couple of holes on each side of the basket. And then I've just taken a 1/2 inch by 11 inch piece of early espresso cardstock. And I'm going to just kind of curl it with my bone folder and make a little handle. And I will trim a little bit of this off because I didn't want my handle to be that tall. Which I think I'll trim that off because I didn't get that in the center. Okay, and then I just took some brads, some little tiny ones. These are retired. I'm not sure. Stampin' Up! Is not carrying brads this catalog, I do not believe. But you can get brads anywhere, right? You can get them at Office Supply and everywhere. So I'm going to just, and I just punched the hole just to kind of help me get a start on it. This is where my big fingers get in the way. Because I want to open that brad up, and of course it's going to give me issues. There we go. Then I determined how tall I wanted my handle to be. That's about where I want it to be. So I'm going to trim off some of that. These would make pretty little hostess gifts if we ever get invited anywhere. Now this handle's a little taller, but that's okay. Pick which side you like the best. It's all going to be covered up by these leaves, so it doesn't really matter which side you use. And we are going to stamp. And I'm not going to stamp all of these leaves out in front of you. But I have gotten a piece of cinnamon cider, crushed curry, and bumblebee, which are almost identical, but they are just a little shade off. I don't know if the camera, it doesn't seem to be picking it up, but they're just a little shade off. Some Cajun craze and some pumpkin pie. And these measure 5.5 by 2 3/4, and they're just big enough to stamp 2 of the large stamped image from the stamp set. What did I do with the stamp set? This image right here. And I just used the coordinating colors to stamp the image. And I made 2 of each color, one for the front side and one for the back. I love this cinnamon cider. And then I used the coordinating die, and I'm not going to make you watch me cut that out, but I cut out all 10 leaves. That took a minute. So I cut out all 10 leaves, and I ended up with 2 crushed curry, 2 pumpkin pie, 2 Cajun craze, 2 bumblebee, or this is bumblebee, this is crushed curry, I don't know, and 2 cinnamon cider. So I just need 1 for the front, 1 of each for the front, and 1 of each for the back. I've got 5 leaves. I just wanted to kind of cover all of this up. I suppose you wouldn't have to do the back, but you could just decorate the front. I just thought it was really cute to do both the front and the back. So I did it that way. But you probably wouldn't have. That's probably a little overkill, but I liked it. I thought it made it look like a whole basket. A basket made out of leaves. And then I just started gluing them around on the front. And it makes your basket look a little bigger because your leaves are kind of off the page, so to speak. So I just started putting these around. I didn't realize there was a sunflower on the back of that one. That's what happens when you pull things out of the scrap box. I didn't look. That's okay. And then for these 2 leaves, instead of going out, I went in like this to kind of cover up that middle section. And then our tag's going to cover that up too. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing on the back side. And when I did this, I just tried to make sure that my height was even with the height in the front, if that makes sense. so I didn't have any leaves kind of peeking out above. And like I said, I'm going to use these at each place setting at Thanksgiving. We don't really have fancy Thanksgiving because we have 4 little kids and it's just chaos at our house at Thanksgiving, but it's good chaos. And I usually just use some clear, cheap buffet plates or paper plates because we have such a crowd. And it's easier and anyway. But this would be fun to put at everybody's place setting. Maybe someday we'll have fancy Thanksgiving when kiddos get a little older. We do buffet style, and so usually the kids are done before the adults are even through the line. Do you all do buffet style or family style for your holiday meals? I would love to know. Comment in the comments if you do buffet or family style. Okay. I don't know. I might use this as the front because I've got all this showing and I can cover it up with the tag. So I might do that. Okay. And then what I did, yeah, well, we've kind of quarantined with our family, so we're around. My daughter's family and my son's family, so that's about all we have for family is the 4 of them and the 4 of them. That's 8, and then my mom. So we have about 11 or 12. So I'm sure, and I usually host, unless my son goes up to his wife's family. Okay, did you see what I just did? I trimmed off the bottom so the basket will sit. And these things are kind of in the way, so I'm going to trim them off straight too. There we go. Just so your basket's sitting, flat. Okay. All right, now we're going to do, I cut out 3 of the embossed leaves, which are in the Gathered Leaves dies. They cut out an embossed leaf. So I cut out 3 of them. I used all 3 of the dies. There's a small, medium, and a large. And I did it in Cajun Craze, cinnamon, cider, and pumpkin pie. I think since I've got stamped sunflower right there, I'm going to make this the side, the front. Because if this is the front, you're going to be able to see that. Okay. Then I also have I just cut a small, I believe this is the smallest, no, it's the next to the smallest oval, and that's in Very Vanilla. And then the smallest scalloped oval is in Early Espresso. And I stamped the little sentiment, Season of Thanks, from the stamp set with Early Espresso. And I stamped it over kind of to the right of the oval, so I had room to put my little leaves on top. You do buffet? You do family style, Betty. That's awesome. Donna, you do buffet? We just started doing buffet when things got bigger. Family got bigger and it was just easier. Plus, then everybody can get up and help themselves to seconds and thirds and whatever. We very rarely do family style when we all get together. Now I'm looking for adhesive. I'm just going to adhere my tag to this scalloped oval. And then I'm going to take my little leaves and glue them together first. Just kind of in a little bundle. I'm going to use my liquid glue so I can kind of move things around. Okay, see, I just made a trio, little trio there. Then I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals to put everything on the front. Yes, this basket would be cute with those sunflower dies that we have. Awesome. That's an awesome idea, Donna. Now I might have to do that. I have a little pumpkin thing that I do with ovals too that I almost did with this. But then in the shower, do you do your best thinking in the shower? I do. I had planned on doing the pumpkin basket, and in the shower I said, you know, those leaves would be really pretty. So that is how I came up with this leaf idea. And I had to come down and figure out how to do it. You ever do that? Come up with an idea, not knowing how it's going to work? Okay, that gives us a little bit of dimension on the front. And then I just kind of gently rolled these leaves up. I don't want to put a crease in them. I don't want to put a bend. But it looks kind of fun if you kind of roll them up. If you got the beautiful autumn card class to go, we did a lot of this bending, folding, gently rolling of leaves, and just to give everything a little bit of dimension. You could also sponge the edges of these leaves, and that would give it a little bit more dimension too. And then the final thing I did is I put a little metallic bow right at the base of these embossed leaves. And I'm using a mini glue dot to adhere that down. So it looks like we've kind of tied those leaves up in a little bouquet. And then we just need to trim off a little of our ribbon. And that's the basket. I made the little fluffy. I should have brought some extra paper over here. Well, I do. Here. I'll show you how I made that. You can make your own little stuffy. what do you call that stuff? That will coordinate with your project. Just take some scraps and your trimmer and make tiny little strips. Just several tiny little strips. I find the tinier the better. So just use scraps. You want them to have a little bit of length. This is an old trick too, so you might already know about this trick. Thank you, Betty Holton. That's a compliment, because you make beautiful three-dimensional things. Are you going to be able to do any of your craft fairs this season, Betty Holton? I know a lot of craft fairs have canceled, so I didn't know if you've heard. I guess the high school, you don't have an in over there anymore. Well, you have your daughter. She's kind of an in, and your son-in-law. Okay, so this is just a bunch of strips. I would probably do more, and then you just wad them up. The more waddy, the better. And you need quite a few, but then you can just put it in your project. That's what I did here. I used some early espresso and some of the bumblebee, and made my own little stuffy stuff. Filler. That's probably what it's called. Okay, I would love for you guys to try this and not be intimidated by that all that folding. Like I said, I'm going to get off right now and get all that posted over there, theplaidpoodle.com, and have a diagram, so it might be a little easier for you to figure all that scoring and folding to make your basket. You guys go have a great rest of your Monday, and I'll see you Wednesday for Coffee and a Card. Betty, yours have been canceled. Yeah, a virtual. Yeah, I could see where that would be hard because you make beautiful things to sell. Yeah, it's too bad. I'm ready for this all to be over. Life to get back to normal, but I'm afraid it's never going to get. Our new normal is when we get back to normal. I don't think it's going to be the same normal that we all knew before. So, but we can all just keep our chins up and do our best and keep crafting, keep stamping. That's a bright spot. So we'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.